There's one attachment style that therapists call the most confusing to live with. And it's not confusing because the person is complicated. It's confusing because they're running two programs at the same time. Program 1, I want you, come closer. I've been waiting for this. Program 2, you're too close. This is going to hurt. I need to go. Both programs are real, both run simultaneously, and the person caught between them doesn't get to choose which one wins because they take turns. Sometimes minute by minute. This is fearful-avoidant attachment, also called disorganized attachment. And if the avoidant person builds walls and the anxious person climbs them, the fearful-avoidant does both. Builds the wall and climbs it, sometimes in the same conversation. In this video, we're looking at 9 quiet signs of it. And for each one, we're going to name both sides of the engine, the craving and the fear, running at the same time in the same person. That's the push-pull engine. And by the end, you'll understand not just what you're doing, but why you can't seem to stop doing it. Keep count. If 5 or more land, stay for the end. Quick frame. The avoidant says, I don't need closeness. The anxious says, I need closeness desperately. The fearful avoidant says both at the same time. I need you. But needing you terrifies me. Come closer, but not that close. Stay. But I might have to go. This usually forms in childhood environments that were simultaneously the source of comfort and the source of danger. The parent who was supposed to soothe was also the parent who was unpredictable, frightening, or emotionally unsafe. So the child system learned 2 rules that directly contradict each other. Go toward the caregiver for safety and move away from the caregiver for survival. That contradiction doesn't resolve. It doesn't pick a winner. It just lives in the body as a permanent oscillation. And every behavior on this list is that oscillation in action. 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake, in every relationship you enter. Number 1, you crave deep connection, and then panic the moment you get it. You fantasize about closeness. You imagine the partner who truly sees you, truly stays. And when someone starts to become that person, something in your chest tightens. Not with joy, with alarm. The closeness you longed for suddenly feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. You wanted to be here. You planned to be here. And now every cell in your body is telling you to step back. The push-pull, the craving is real. It comes from the part of you that needed love and never got it safely. The panic is also real. It comes from the part of you that learned closeness is where the danger lives. You're not faking either one. You're living in both at the same time, and neither one wins long enough for you to settle. Count it if that's yours. Number 2, you idealize people at the start, then find reasons to tear it apart. The beginning is intoxicating. This person is everything. You dive in fast, feel intensely, see potential everywhere. And then, slowly or suddenly, the flaws start to magnify. Something small becomes unforgivable. A habit becomes a deal breaker. You start building a case for why it won't work. Not because the evidence is strong, but because the alternative is staying, and staying means being fully seen. The push-pull. Idealization is the craving running at full speed. Finally, someone who might fill the gap. Sabotage is the fear catching up. If this person is real, they can really hurt me. Better to destroy the fantasy before it becomes a reality I can't control. Count it if you've lived this cycle more than once. Number 3, you run hot and cold, and you confuse yourself as much as the other person. Monday, you're in love. Wednesday, you need space. Friday, you're reaching out again. Sunday, you're questioning everything. And the worst part isn't the inconsistency. It's that each version feels completely real in the moment. When you're warm, you genuinely mean it. When you're cold, you genuinely feel it. You're not performing, you're oscillating. The push-pull. Warmth happens when the craving is louder than the fear. Cold happens when the fear overtakes the craving. You don't switch because you're manipulative. You switch because the engine rotates, and whichever program is running at the time feels like the truth, until the other one takes over, and then that feels like the truth too. Count it. Number 4, you test people, but you've rigged the test so no one can pass. You push to see if they'll stay, but the push is calibrated to the exact force that would make most people leave, and when they do leave, you feel 2 things simultaneously: devastation and confirmation. I knew it. They always leave. The devastation is genuine. The confirmation is the math completing itself. The push-pull. The test is the craving. Please prove me wrong. Please be the one who stays. The rigging is the fear. If I make it passable, someone might actually pass, and then I'd have to let them in. The fearful-avoidant doesn't test to be cruel. They test because they need to know, and they're terrified of the answer. Count it if your tests have a pattern of producing the outcome you were afraid of. Number 5, you overshare in the beginning, then pull back hard and regret every word. You meet someone and you open up fast, too fast. You tell them things on the second date that most people wait months to share, and it feels good in the moment, like relief, like being seen. Then the next morning, the panic hits. You said too much. They know too much. You're exposed. And now every instinct says, retreat, rebuild the wall, go quiet. The push-pull. Oversharing is the craving surging forward. Finally, someone to hold this. The withdrawal is the fear realizing what happened. You just handed someone ammunition. The vulnerability felt like freedom at 10 p.m. and like danger at 7 a.m. Same person, same disclosure, opposite experience. And now you're left deciding whether to explain the retreat or just disappear. Count it. Number 6. You're consistently drawn to people who are emotionally complicated. Stable, available, predictable people feel flat. Something's missing. There's no spark. But the person who runs hot and cold, the one who's intense and unpredictable, that feels alive because their rhythm matches yours. Their chaos mirrors your internal landscape. 2 push-pull engines locked together in a dance that's exhausting but familiar. The push-pull. The craving seeks intensity because intensity feels like love. That's what love looked like in the house where you learned it. The fear avoids stability because stability is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels unsafe. You're not choosing badly. You're choosing the emotional frequency you were tuned to as a child. The problem is that the frequency that feels like home is also the one that keeps you in chaos. Count it if boring and safe feel like the same word to you. Number 7. You can't decide if you want to stay or go, sometimes in the same hour. You compose the breakup text, then you delete it. You plan the conversation where you end things, then you picture their face and you can't. You make a decision and feel relief. And then 30 minutes later, the relief becomes regret, and the regret becomes panic, and the panic sends you right back to where you started. The push-pull. Staying feels dangerous because it means commitment, visibility, potential devastation. Leaving feels dangerous because it means losing the one thing you actually want. You're not indecisive. You're caught in a binary where both options trigger the same alarm. So you hover in the doorway, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and call the hovering a relationship. Count it. Number 8. You feel most alive in the uncertainty of almost together, almost official, almost safe. The space where things haven't been defined yet, where the closeness is possible but not locked in, that's where you feel most alive. Because in the almost, you get to want without committing. You get to feel without risking. The door's open, but you haven't walked through it yet. And the not walking through it feels safer than either entering or leaving. The push-pull, the craving is fed by proximity. They're close. It's exciting. The longing is alive. The fear is managed by the ambiguity. Nothing is official, so nothing can officially be lost. The almost is the only state where both the craving and the fear are temporarily satisfied. That's why it feels electric. And that's why actually arriving, actually being in the relationship, often feels like the spark dies. It doesn't die. The safety net just disappeared. Count it if you've ever been more in love with the potential of someone than the reality of them. Number 9, you apologize for wanting to be close. And then you apologize for wanting to be far. Both apologies are sincere. You reach towards someone, then say sorry for being needy. You pull away, then say sorry for being distant. You exist in a constant state of apology because both of your needs feel like impositions. And they contradict each other so thoroughly that no matter which one you act on, you feel guilty for the other. The push-pull, apologizing for closeness means the fear is running, telling you that needing someone is dangerous. Apologizing for distance means the craving is running, telling you that pushing them away is costing you the thing you actually want. And you're caught in between, apologizing to everyone, including yourself, for being the person who can't seem to want one thing at a time. Count it. That's 9. How many did you count? 1 or 2? You may have some fearful-avoidant tendencies, but they're not running the show, worth noticing, not worth spiraling about. 3 or 4? The push-pull is there. You feel the oscillation, especially under stress or in intimate relationships. This is the awareness window, where seeing the pattern starts to loosen its grip. 5 or more. The engine is real. And I want you to hear this clearly. It doesn't mean you're unlovable. It means your system learned to want and fear the same thing. And it's been running that contradiction so long that it feels like who you are. It's not who you are. It's what happened to you. And that distinction changes everything. The fearful-avoidant style is the hardest one to live with. Not because the person is broken, but because the contradiction is constant. Every other attachment style has a direction, toward or away. The fearful-avoidant has both, always, at the same time, and that's exhausting in a way that no one on the outside fully understands. But here's what changes it, not resolving the contradiction. You can't, not all at once, but learning to observe it. When the craving surges, noticing, this is the part of me that wants. When the fear hits, this is the part of me that's protecting. You don't have to pick a winner. You just have to stop letting them take turns driving without your awareness. At Inner Lens, we don't simplify what's complex. We sit with it. If this resonated, the next video follows a different thread from the same root. The subtle signs you over-apologize because of your childhood. It's right here.